Greetings art lovers and welcome to the Rockport Art Association Museum for our 5th sneak peek at work that will be offered in their upcoming art auction on Saturday, October 3rd. Do you have a favourite yet? Each year this prestigious fundraising event attracts serious collectors from across the country, as well as those just starting an art collection. There is something for everyone: oils, watercolours, black and white, mixed media, sculpture by some of the late top artists across the country. Some old favourites like Emil Groupie in the top right hand corner, who we looked at last week, and some new favourites like Julius Allen. He isn't an artist that I knew an awful lot about, but I really like his work. He was one of New Jersey's most promising artists of the 20th century, and he is best known for his evocative and realistic paintings depicting coastal landscapes, harbours of Maine, New Jersey, New York and New England, and urban street scenes. He was born in Summit, New Jersey in 1898 and studied at the New York School of Fine and Applied Art. Later he enrolled at the National Academy of Design, and then he went on to study under Charles Hawthorne in Provincetown, Ivan Olinsky and George Elmer Brown. Allen's stellar work earned him full membership of the National Academy of Design. In fact, he served as Vice President of the Academy and also Chairman of their school committee. He was also a member of the Salmagundi Club, where he served as Vice President, Corresponding Secretary and Chairman of the Art Committee. That's what you want, not only an artist who produces great work, but somebody who is happy to work for his organisation. Allen's work is now in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Montclair Art Museum, the Art Museum of the New Britain Institute, and many private and institutional collections. Wouldn't you just like to have this in your collection? Look at that brushwork. You can see the impasto in the lower portion of the painting, and it's interesting, his palette, how he uses the red of the little shed on the right to really make the clothes on the washing line pop. And that blue note, not quite in the centre, but just in that perfect spot to move the eye around the painting. Beautifully done. And here we have Fairy Tales from 1921. Talk about big and beautiful. This is a 36 by 32 inch oil on canvas by Agnes, Millen, Richmond. She was born in Alton, Illinois in 1870. She specialised in portraits of women from various social strata. Her landscape backgrounds, both urban and rural, reflected the circumstances. Her portraits often had bright colours and showcased the fashions of the era. Like Emma Fordyce McRae, Richmond favoured big flat masses and backgrounds from which she pulled her foreground figures. This is a classic portrait and just beautifully done. She studied at the St. Louis School of Fine Arts before moving to New York in 1888, where she enrolled at the Art Students League to study with John Twachtman, Walter Appleton Clark and Kenyon Cox. From 1910 to 1914 she taught at the Art Students League. She was also part of the Red Cottage group, who came and summered in East Gloucester over by Rocky Neck every summer. This was where the New Yorkers like John Sloan and Stuart Davis gathered to paint. Richmond, who was married to artist Winthrop Turney, was active in women's suffrage and the promotion of socialism. She died in 1964. And here we have another great woman painter, Mabel May Ward. She was born in Providence, Rhode Island in 1877, and she was an impressionist painter with a scintillating palette who specialised in colourful beach and recreational scenes. She was also a long-time teacher for 25 years at the Rhode Island School of Design. She liked to travel in Europe, but she spent most of her summers on Cape Ann, where she loved to paint street and beach scenes, as well as Ogunquit, Maine and Provincetown. These paintings are regularly immersed in bright sunlight or wrapped in velvet shadows. She received her early art training at the Rhode Island School of Design, and then, like Agnes Richmond, she continued her studies at the Art Students League in New York with William Merritt Chase, Frank Vincent Dumond and Kenyon Cox, all noted teachers of their time. She also attended the Algonquin School as a student of Charles Woodbury. And Woodbury's advice to students, which she obviously took to heart, was paint with verbs. And we can see by the spontaneity of her colour, design and brushwork just how well she put that advice to good use. She used a direct painting method, and there is great assurance in her brushwork through which she conveys a sense of verve and movement. Absolutely beautiful, and I'm sure you'll all recognise this scene of Rockport. Wouldn't that look just great over your mantelpiece? Well, it's hard to believe that our time is up already. Thank you for joining me, Judy Curtis, to look at these 3 pieces from the Rockport Art Association Museum's upcoming 2020 annual auction on Saturday, October 3rd. I hope you've already marked your calendars. I hope you've seen something that you feel would look beautiful in your home. There is nothing like having an original work of art on your wall to uplift the spirit, and heaven knows we need our spirits uplifting at the moment in these very difficult days. So without further ado, again I'll say thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll tune in next week for the 6th and last sneak peek of work being offered in Rockport Art Association Museum's upcoming 2020 auction. Have a good week.